Okay, so let's take a look at example 3. Now there's nothing really all that tricky about example 3, but some people panic when they look at example 3 and they think there's not enough there. There is. This is a distributive property problem because as you can see, we've got a number in front of a set of parentheses. So the problem right now reads 9 parenthesis y minus 2 close parenthesis is greater than 9. Again, we're going to have to change this into an equal sign to start. I just got done saying this is a distributive property problem. So 9 times the y, 9 times the 2. 9 times y is 9y. 9 times 2 is 18. And the sign that was in the middle stays in the middle. So it stays subtraction equals 9. Okay, one thing that has to get moved to the right side. What is it?
18.
18. Fantastic. You've got to add 18 to both sides. And I get 9y equals 27. Multiplication equation, you know by now, multiplication gets solved by dividing, and I have to divide each side by 9. That'll give me y equals 3. Put the original sign back in. Okay. So, number line it now. 0 and 3 on the number line, open dot, and it shades off to the right because the sign points to the right. All right, now the problems start to get a little more complicated, a lot closer to what you had last week. Not that 1, 2, and 3 weren't, but these are a lot closer to them. In example 4, 3x minus 8 is less than negative x plus 4. 3x minus 8 is less than negative x plus 4. All right, so we're going to change it to an equal sign. 3x minus 8 equals negative x plus 4. Okay. I've got to move the x terms all to the left side. I've got to move the numbers all to the right side. And I'm going to do this all in one step so I'm not bouncing back and forth here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is add x to each side. Now, we had many problems like that last week. You should know by now that if I'm adding x to both sides, that's like I'm adding 1x to both sides. So what I really have is 3x plus 1x, which is the same as 4x. You also know by now that numbers are going to go to the right side, so I'm going to have to move the 8 over. As you can clearly see, there's a subtraction sign in front of it. So the opposite is going to be to add it. And that gives me 12. Multiplication problem, best solved by dividing. To divide across by 4. That gives me x equals 3. Then I put my original sign back in, and I have x is less than 3. So very similar result to the last problem. The only difference is instead of the shading going off to the right, since it's less than, the shading is going to have to go off to the left. Okay, last one. 11n plus 36 is greater than or equal to 3n minus 4. 11n plus 36 is greater than or equal to 3n minus 4. All right, so we're going to go right into the equal sign. And I took care of that. Okay, so what element has to get moved to the left side of the equal sign? 3n has to get moved to the left side of the equal sign. As you can see, we're going to have to subtract it because right now it's positive. The opposite of a positive is a negative. A negative looks like subtraction. So I've got 11n minus 3n, that gives me 8n. Okay, what's the element that has to get moved to the right side? 36 is going to have to get moved to the other side. There's a big old addition sign in front of it, so I'm going to have to subtract it. So I'll get 8n equals negative 4. Now what do? Divide. What do I divide by?
118.
8. Good. That gives me n equals negative 5. Put my sign back in. N is greater than or equal to negative 5. Two numbers on the number line.
0 and negative 5.
0 and negative 5. Make sure negative 5 is in the right spot. It should be to the left of 0, not to the right. Type of dot?
Close.
Closed. Fantastic. Shading to the
Right.
shading to the right.